Hello YouTube, I'm back again. This is your girl Bev, and I'm back with another exciting snippet from my book Gezebel. So I hope by now you've got it so you kind of know what I'm talking about as I'm going through the motions with my book. So today we are up to chapter 34. So let's get to it, okay? Gezebel's ravenous stomach refused to let her sleep a minute longer and gnawed at her insides. She tossed and turned fitfully in bed. It was 10:01 a.m. and Jack was already out of the house. Gezebel was upset with herself for having slept so long and attributed her lethargy to jet lag. Images of Baron crying out for her flashed through her mind, and Gezebel was anxious about not being there for him. She forced herself out of bed, brushed her teeth, and took a quick shower. Gezebel's brushed her mangled hair into a ponytail and donned well-worn jeans and a white t-shirt. She skipped the stairs and rode the elevator down to the kitchen where she found Inez chopping cucumbers. Gezebel entered and plastered a cheerful smile on her face. "Good morning, Gezebel. Did you sleep well?" Inez asked. Her English was colored with a heavy Dominican accent. "Yes, I did. I'm starving. Mind if I make myself breakfast?" Jezebel asked. "I'll make it for you. What would you like?" Inez asked. "Something New Yorkish," Gezebel replied and giggled nervously. Minutes later, Gezebel sat at the stone island in the kitchen and devoured 2 eggs, 3 pancakes, and a toasted sesame seed bagel with cream cheese. Her voracious appetite was finally satiated, and she felt more alive. Inez seemed easy to get along with, and Gezebel hoped the housekeeper would help her get acclimated to Jack's way of life. The doorbell rang, moving right along. And when I say moving right along, that means I'm skipping through some stuff. Excuse my throat, it's getting scratchy again. The doorbell rang. "Excuse me." Inez apologized and left to answer the door. Gezebel overheard the animated voice of a young woman conversing in Spanish with Inez. Their voices grew louder as they descended the stairs and entered the kitchen. "Lizette, this is Mr. Chagall's girlfriend from Barbados. Her name is Gezebel." "Gezebel, this is my sister, Lizette." Inez introduced the girls. "Nice to meet you." "Gezebel? Now that's a unique name," Lizette exclaimed with her Spanish-English New York accent. Gezebel snickered and outstretched her hand to Lizette for a handshake. Lizette laughed and clasped Jezebel's hand firmly. The 2 girls chuckled. Gezebel had a feeling she and Lizette were going to get along. Yo, your mother actually named you that?" "Hey," New York translation. "Hey, your mother actually gave you that name?" Lizette stated and waved her hand in the air for dramatic effect. She popped chewing gum between her teeth and drew attention to her pink glossy lips. Lizette's hair was tinted the color of a Bloody Mary, and she maintained it religiously in the Dominican beauty shops. Gold hoop earrings matched perfectly with the gold belt that hugged the waist of the skin-tight jeans she wore. The jeans emphasized Lizette's pear-shaped derriere, which she was very proud of. Lizette was a tell it like it is, in-your-face New Yorker who thrived on the everyday experiences of city life. The Dominican lass viewed Gezebel with interest and found her mysterious beauty rather captivating. She was envious of Gezebel's tall stature and natural poise, since she herself was a much shorter at 5'4" and a little rough around the edges. But there was something about Gezebel's haunting eyes that caught her attention. You wearing contacts, Mammy? Lizette asked boldly. Gezebel didn't understand why Lizette referred to her as Mammy, so she remained silent just in case Lizette suspected her of being a mother. Aye, Lizette, please, Inex hissed at her sister. She thought Lizette was going too far. Never, Gezebel replied and smiled. She wasn't offended because she answered similar questions dozens of times. Honey, if I had your height and gorgeous face, I would quit my job and work as a model, Lizette stated as if she were making a revelation of some sort. moving right along. Here's my number. I'll be your first friend in New York, okay, Mommy? Lizette stated and appointed herself Gezebel's personal mentor. Gezebel accepted the piece of paper and stuffed it into the front pocket of her jeans. Why do you call me Mammy? Gezebel asked. She needed some clarification. Oh, honey, that means you've got it going on, Lizette exclaimed and laughed. Gezebel breathed a sigh of relief. The doorbell rang. Moving right along. The sides of Lizette's mouth turned down with displeasure at the sight of the young lady. Not this witch, Lizette muttered under her breath, but loud enough for Gezebel to hear. Inez, are you having a party down here or are you working? The girl asked in an authoritative manner. Yes, I work. I always work. You know, Mr. Chagall doesn't mind Lizette visiting. Inez reminded the young lady in a respectful tone. And who's this? The girl asked and nodded towards Gezebel. Inez remained silent so Gezebel could speak up. I'm Gezebel. I moved in yesterday. Gezebel answered and wondered how this girl was connected to Jack. I remember Jack mentioning something about that, the girl stated in a flat voice. Disappointment surfaced in her face. I see, Gezebel replied dryly. Do you? Do you really see? The girl asked Gezebel in a sarcastic manner. Told you she was a witch, Lizette whispered to Gezebel and picked a grape out of the fruit bowl. She tossed it in her mouth. Gezebel was caught off guard by the resentful tone in the girl's voice. She had a feeling this girl was linked romantically to Jack. Who are you, by the way? Gezebel asked and crossed her arms over her chest. It's obvious she ain't shit, otherwise he would have mentioned her stupid ass. Lizette sneered and Gezebel giggled. You got something to say, Lanina? The blonde challenged Lizette in a hostile manner. Lizette turned her back and refused to acknowledge her. Inez breathed a sigh of relief when Lizette didn't respond. Lizette had a previous run-in with this girl, and she didn't want it to happen again because it could jeopardize her job. The young woman directed her attention back to Gezebel. I'm Lynn. Some people refer to me as Jack's girlfriend, the young lady quipped. And some people say she ain't, Lizelle hissed and Gezebel giggled. Ladies, good afternoon. Lynn, I see you've met Gezebel, Jack announced with a relaxed air and entered the kitchen. Is this what you brought back from the islands? Lynn asked contemptuously. As a matter of fact, she is. Isn't she lovely? Jack quipped and stoked Lynn's jealousy. Lizette stifled her impromptu chuckles by covering her mouth with her hands. Gezebel's face remained expressionless, and she successfully camouflaged her mirth beneath a cool exterior. Lynn struggled to remain calm, but her body shook with rage. She wanted to slap Jack's face for humiliating her and claw Jezebel's eyes out. Well, I'm going to leave that chapter right there. It gets so heated, it gets so fun, and it gets so much crazier. So go ahead and get your copy of Gezebel today, and I will see you soon in the next video. Toodles!